failed, botched Donald Trump assassination attempt. In fact, Dan Bongino, the commentator and talk show host, who is a former Secret Service agent, says that the very obvious botched assassination attempt at President Donald Trump's rally was a catastrophic failure of the Secret Service. As he said, no excuses should be made or even attempted that an uneventful failure is not a success. Now, Dan Bongino, who also used to work as the New York City police officer, he was said to be in touch with the former Secret Service colleagues. Now, Bongino called on Kimberly Cheatle, she's the director of the Secret Service, to resign. That's right, guys. Dan Bongino has called on Kimberly Cheatle, the director of the Secret Service, to resign, folks. Now, many Democrats who don't necessarily want President Biden to be their party's nominee, has been talking about former President Obama. Now, they hope that he might be able to convince Biden to step aside. However, Obama has mostly stayed silent on this particular issue, except for a short post on a social media post not too long ago, about 2 weeks ago. So recently, Barack Obama was seen hugging basketball stars like LeBron James, Don Stanley, but he has not publicly commented on Joe Biden's situation. In fact, the silence is surprisingly loud because many of Obama's former advisors, like political strategist David Axelrod and famous friends such as Oscar winner George Clooney, have been very vocal about their concerns regarding President Joe Biden. Now, privately, a source very close to Barack Obama said that he is worried about the state of the race and Biden's chances in winning it, at least as of last week. Now, Biden understands the challenges that Biden faces, and we can't forget the famous quote from Barack Obama: "Never underestimate Joe Biden's ability to F things up," and he sure did it again. And he's also talked to senior Democrats, including former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, but he isn't sure about the best way forward. Now, some people believe that Barack Obama wouldn't talk to Biden about stepping down by himself. Instead, it would be more like a group effort with people like Nancy Pelosi, maybe even Representative James Clyburn, who are very close to Joe Biden. People who know Obama say he doesn't usually make bold statements about his former vice president. Quote, "The Obamas are very careful about what they support and who they support. They only back things that are almost certain to succeed," one source said. They go on to say Obama's strength is in being a symbol that people can relate to. It's tough for him to endorse anything outright. That's a strategic move and applies here very well. Now, moving on, House Speaker Mike Johnson posted on X moments just after the Trump rally assassination attempt. He said that the House would launch a full investigation of the Donald Trump shooting. By the way, guys, if you haven't already, please take a second, hit the like button for the video. Totally appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. And I can't thank you enough for always subscribing and sharing these videos. That really does help me out. You guys are tremendously amazing. But Mike Johnson said that the House would launch a full investigation of the Donald Trump shooting. He added that Cheatle and other officials would appear for committee hearings ASAP. Sounds like they're about to clean the swamp here, folks. House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer of Kentucky announced the exact same evening that he had already contacted the Secret Service for a briefing, and he's also calling on Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheatle to appear for a hearing. Elon Musk also posted on X that the Secret Service leadership should resign. What do you guys think? Should the Secret Service leadership resign, including Kimberly Cheatle? What's going on, everyone, in the comments? I see you guys all piling in. What's going on, John Kent? We've got Fed Up Patriot in the house. Nana's Crochet Corner. Awesome, awesome. So it was a colossal F up of the Secret Service, to say the least, guys. But some say it could have actually been intentional. And I think a lot of people have been saying it in the comments. I've been reading you guys' comments. I've been reading all over the different forums. A lot of folks are saying that this had to be intentional. But, just consider this. So Cheatle was appointed by President Joe Biden to be the director of the Secret Service in 2022. Her 25-year career ended, her 25-year career even included a stint serving on Biden's security detail when he was vice president. Kimberly Cheatle, in her first public remarks since the attempted assassination, called the security lapse unacceptable and tried to shift some blame to local police. I'm not surprised. She also said that the buck stops with her, but does it really? I mean, you gotta wonder, right? Witnesses said that they frantically tried to warn the Secret Service agents about a suspicious man on the roof of a manufacturing plant just moments before he unleashed this deadly onslaught. Donald Trump advisors, Dan Scavino, said former President Donald Trump may have saved his own life with his decision to use and reference the jumbotron at the bottom of the rally platform. Essentially, there's more protection down there. See, it was Donald Trump who turned his head toward the jumbotron at the exact moment that the bullets whizzed past his head. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas said that in the aftermath of the weekend's violence in Western Pennsylvania, the Secret Service adjusted its protective measures for Donald Trump, President Joe Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris, and numerous others. And that security details would be provided to independent candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr., along with Donald Trump's newly announced running mate, Senator J.D. Vance. Now, this is big news, guys. Now, here's the thing. I feel like this is what they're just trying to show. They want to put forth good faith. Oh, this is a tragic event. We can't let this happen. We're going to beef up security. But now my question is, can you even trust your Secret Service? Can Donald Trump, do you guys think that Donald Trump, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., even J.D. Vance can trust their Secret Service? I mean, it may be too little too late. Democrats are now trying to cover their you-know-whats, but I think it's all over the internet at this point, In fact, I've even got a montage of Democrats threatening violence against Donald Trump from CNN to MSNBC to Mad Maxine and tons of others. I mean, President Joe Biden, he told NBC News in an interview that it was a mistake to say that he wanted to put a bullseye on Republican nominee Donald Trump. It's a mistake. Okay. But as early as April, legal analyst Alan Dershowitz, he was warning people about newly introduced legislation that would strip felons of Secret Service protection. Now, according to him, this is Democrats wanting former President Donald Trump killed. I mean, this is just too much, guys. This is too much to be a coincidence. I mean, am I right? I think it's time that we definitely take a much closer look at this. But first, I want you to have a listen to former Secret Service agent Dan Bongino detailing the apocalyptic security failure in the Trump administration that falls on the hands of the Secret Service. Take a listen.
One job and only one job. Your job is keep the body alive no matter what. Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Jill Biden, the president of Djibouti, it doesn't matter. That is your job. They absolutely, resolutely, 100% failed. Not a single excuse should be made. Not a single excuse should be attempted. This should be the subject of congressional hearings and investigations, because if they can't do this, and this is the best technology you had, then folks, there's no purpose anymore. This was an apocalyptic failure. And don't ever forget, an uneventful failure is never a success. And the fact that Donald Trump didn't die yesterday is no reason for anybody to take some kind of victory lap. And before we start sending out plaudits, we better look and do a hot wash on this and find out exactly how abysmal this security plan was.
I mean, guys, for real, the Secret Service was it was a disaster. I mean, people are already questioning our government's institutions, and now this, right? I mean, who's going to investigate the FBI and the Secret Service? Because seriously, guys, the FBI and the Secret Service should be investigated here. Am I right? And what do our local media say? Oh, well, just look at how this news show from Australia, guys, outside the United States, everyone's watching this clown show here in the United States. So there's this Australian news show blasting the CNN coverage of the Donald Trump assassination. Take a listen here.
His face.
Look what happened.
This horrific act has just deepened an already huge divide in the United States of America. But if you were following media outlets like CNN today, well, you would have thought that Donald Trump had a fall. Look at this headline. Secret Service rushed Trump off stage after he falls at rally. Falls. It was an assassination attempt. He's not Joe Biden that doesn't know how to stand up. And that's not a one-off headline. This morning, I was looking at my phone and I was taking screenshots because even though it's CNN, I still couldn't believe it. The next headline I saw, Trump injured in incident at rally. Incident. That's really what they wanted to go with when the man who's been president before and is running again was just shot. Oh, and there's more. Video captures what happened at Trump rally that left him injured. Ooh, wonder what it could be. CNN is using the video as clickbait while refusing to acknowledge what it is that just occurred, and that is an attempt to murder the man who is running for president, something that has not happened since 1981 when there was an assassination attempt on Republican President Ronald Reagan. I scroll further down CNN's website and I get to analysis, and of course there's this headline, Trump is favoured but Biden can still win this election. Well, I really doubt that. But let's leave CNN for now. I have more to say about their coverage in a moment because it actually gets worse. And let's look at some of the other reaction we are seeing today. And remember, America is right now feeling the weight and the heartbreak of what has unfolded today. But Colorado Democrat Stephen Woodrow posted on X, the last thing we need was sympathy for the devil, but here we are.
Unbelievable, guys. I mean, seriously, may God have mercy on our country. I mean, it really makes you wonder just like how corrupt some people are in this administration and the mainstream media. They're calling what Donald Trump experienced an incident, not an assassination. Can you believe CNN for doing that? Special shout out and thank you to Fed Up Patriot. Appreciate the Big Ten. YouTube's Little Goose, Stepping Police have been heavy for the past 3 days. They're watching everything. I appreciate you for the heads up, man. Hope my man Doug in exile can get things back up. I hope he's doing well, and I hope the best for him. But I'm just kind of glad that we have our very own community here of truth here on YouTube. We keep each other real. We make sure that we get to the bottom of things instead of just kind of relying on the smoke screen of mainstream media. But what do y'all think, guys? Quick shout out and thank you so much for you guys hitting the like button. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. Matter of fact, make sure you're still subscribed. A lot of people have been hitting me up talking about, Ron, I don't know how I got unsubscribed. So make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. Appreciate you guys. But in her first remarks, since the assassination at Donald Trump's rally, Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheatle admitted to significant security lapses. Okay, that's a start. Just plain unacceptable, guys. And yet, even with mounting pressure following the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump, Cheatle confirmed she would not be stepping down and instead saying that the buck stops with her. I mean, to call it unacceptable may just be the worst understatement imaginable. I mean, let's be real here, guys. The shooting in Butler, PA was the first time since the assassination attempt on former President Ronald Reagan back in 1981 that a U.S. leader has been attacked while under Secret Service protection. And the agency's failure to secure the rooftop used by the gunman, one of the most basic preparations, this is like ABC steps, folks, for public speaking events. It has raised questions about the staffing, the strategy, the leadership, and she just calls it unacceptable. I mean, talk about making a molehill out of a mountain, right? Now, what else does Cheatle do? Well, tries to shift the blame to local police. She said agents moved quickly to stop the shooter after rally goers spotted him atop a building just outside the security perimeter, but that police officers were inside the structure while the gunman, identified as a 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks, was on the roof. But we're living in the 21st century here, folks, with cell phone cameras, cameras everywhere. Everybody's got a phone, everybody's got a camera, right? And so we've got rally goers left and right, eyewitnesses saying that they frantically tried to warn Secret Service agents, police, anyone who would listen about a suspicious man on the roof of this manufacturing plant just moments before he unleashed this deadly onslaught. One of them, Greg Smith, he told the BBC that the gunman was up there for a couple of minutes, just hanging out. Absolutely, just at least 5 minutes. They were pointing at him for the Secret Service, who were looking at them from the rooftop of the barn across the way, adjacent to Donald Trump. They were looking at him the whole time. Now, in a statement shortly after the attempt on his life, Donald Trump said he could feel the bullet ripping through my skin, and there was so much bleeding. So what saved our former president? Well, Trump advisor Dan Scavino, he credited Donald Trump's decision to use the reference of the Jumbotron at the rally with saving his life. Now, like you guys saw in the videos, we've all seen it. Donald Trump turned his head toward the Jumbotron at the exact moment the bullets whizzed past him. I mean, just imagine if his head were just a few inches in the wrong direction. We'd be having a totally different conversation here today, folks. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas said officials will assemble a team to conduct an independent review of the apparent lapses. He called it a security imperative and that they need to move with swiftness and urgency. But where was that before this assassination attempt took place, right? Now, lawmakers they're launching inquiries on their own. Representative James Comer, chairman of the House Oversight Committee, he led a group of Republicans who essentially wrote to Cheatle asking by Thursday for a list of the agents and the officers that were assigned to safeguard the rally, as well as any recording of what transpired and the derivatives from the agency's leadership in response to the shooting. Now, as Comer said on social media, Americans deserve answers. We do deserve answers, guys. Homeland Secretary of Security Alejandro Mayorkas said that in the aftermath of the weekend's violence in Western Pennsylvania, the Secret Service adjusted its protective measures for Donald Trump, President Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris, and others, and that security details would be provided to independent candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. along with Donald Trump's newly announced running mate, Senator J.D. Vance. So yeah, I just wish they did this a little bit sooner, huh? I mean, we've got the Republican National Convention this week, guys, in Milwaukee. What was it, like yesterday, day before yesterday? I mean, I can only imagine the type of threat that this placed on, Donald Trump's mind, Melania Trump's mind, Secret Service. But just take a listen to the kind of violence that Democrats have been threatening former President Donald Trump for the last several years with. I mean, just unbelievable what they've been doing and saying.
In the face. I said if we were in high school, I'd take you behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
Punch some people in the face.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
I mean, like, how? Now, President Biden, he admitted put on Republican nominee Donald Trump, but he still didn't take back. He still didn't kind of back away from saying that Donald Trump remained a threat to democratic institutions. He didn't do that. So yeah, some would say that this is kind of a doublespeak as essentially what caused the assassination attempt in the first place. The remark in question came during a private call with donors as President Biden had been scrambling to kind of shore up his candidacy with key party constituents. During the conversation, Biden declared that he was done talking about his poor debate performance and he said it was time to put Trump in the bullseye. I mean, like, weren't we just talking about how Democrats seen the former President Donald Trump killed just a while back? I mean, check this out, guys. Just a few months ago, we talked about this new legislation from Democrats that legal analyst Alan Dershowitz warned about. Representative Bernie Thompson, a Mississippi Democrat and ranking member of the House Committee on Homeland Security, he brought forth denying infinite security and government resources allocated toward convicting an extremely dishonorable former Protectees Act, or the Disgraced Act, that would terminate Secret Service protection for individuals convicted of either state or local felonies. And you know who was just labeled a felon a few weeks ago? None other than former President Donald Trump. In fact, Trump is specifically mentioned by Thompson as someone whose protection privileges would be affected should he be found guilty, as the former president faces four criminal indictments. Now, as Dershowitz pointed out, that's just ridiculous. And that means that they want him killed because he's obviously a target. And who's talking about Donald Trump as a target? Well, none other than current President Joe Biden, who just admitted it. Now, I'm telling you guys, if there were ever a time to be vigilant, now would be the time, guys. So, make sure you guys are always subscribed to the channel. Make sure you guys have your notification bells are on. All right. I really do appreciate you guys. You guys are amazing. You guys saw me get cut off the other day during my live. I'm glad that I was able to make it through this one. I don't know. I don't know what's really going on here, but anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And again, if you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share these videos. I really, really do appreciate you guys. Keep Trump in your prayers, guys. Somebody was definitely looking out for that man just a couple days ago. Again, thanks so much, guys, and I'll catch you on the